All right, we're going to do this week's analysis. So we're going to start from the weekly time frame. We are going to highlight our previous low and our previous high. Now, looking from the weekly time frame, price can come all the way down to our last week's low as a retest for it to go higher, depending on how much volume we have this week. However, besides last week's low, we also have a low right there. That was our previous breakout, our last breakout. So price could actually push to our previous breakout for a retest, and then price can go higher if that's what price is going to do, because remember, we do have an area around this area. So it's going to be very tricky for price to break above. It needs to collect orders for it to collect to go higher. It's just how it is. All right. Moving on to the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, as you can see, price tried going higher, but it got rejected. You can highlight this as a very important area because it is a very important area. And then if we look to our left, this was our previous breakout. So this is an area where price can come back to retest and collect more orders and then can potentially push higher. All right. And then this area, right, this zone right here, we are going to adjust that on the higher time frame. I mean, on the lower time frame. So what we're saying right now is this was our previous breakout. This is the area that price previously broke out. So you could have a zone here and a zone here. Remember, the last bearish candle is our order block, because this was the last bearish candle before price made a huge move. So that's our order block. So price can react to any area in this candlestick. Now, where our first red line is, that's 50%. So price is a potential of pushing to that area. All right. So we need to see what happens around this area. If price is creating a range here for it to go higher, or if it's going to create a range, come collect orders and then go higher. So we need to be careful and we need to watch closely and be patient. The trade will come to you. You don't have to look for it. It will come to you. But for now, this is what we have. So now let's go on to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we can adjust our zone to around this area so that we don't have too many lines that are cutting through candlesticks. This is our last week's low. All right, just a reminder. Now, if we look at the area where price is at, we are going to put a zone right there. There is a zone right there, right? So we need to see if price is going to create a new low, or if this low is going to hold for price to push higher. We're going to adjust this so that it's not cutting through candlesticks. All right, because if you look to our left right here, we have a zone. All right, so price needs to break this zone for it to get to our area that we needed to retest. But we know it's not that simple. Price is not just gonna give us candlesticks going down to our target area, unless today is one of those days where things happen unexpected. So we might see price push all the way down because the bearish pressure is high. However, this is a zone that price might reject and create a range around this area. And if it does create a range, then that idea of price wicking down to collect orders and then pushing higher comes into play. If it doesn't, we could also see a range around this area for price to go higher. Now, if you have noticed, this is the same view that we have had on the daily time frame and the weekly time frame. So that means these could be very strong setups. All right. Now, let's move on to the 1-hour time frame and see if there's anything interesting. Now, on the 1-hour time frame, you can see that the bearish pressure is high because price has been trying to reject, but price has been pushing lower. So now if the bearish pressure is very high, we need to wait. Even if market is going to give us a huge black candlestick, a bearish candlestick going lower, we're still going to wait. We're not going to force this idea into play, because if you wanted to be in this sell, you should have entered from around this area. That should have been your entry. So if you're not on it, either we're waiting to see how price reacts to this area with a target to this low. All right, this is our previous breakout, but we take our profits at a safer area because you don't know where and how price is going to react. All right, especially considering we have this high that was created. This is where the start of our order block candle starts. All right, so in a situation like this, I would advise not entering and watching what price did. Even if it gives us a huge candlestick, that's okay. You already missed the beginning. It's okay to miss the rest and just watch, to wait and see if price is going to give us some rejection, some bullish setup for price to go higher, because we need to see some retest. But if it doesn't, then we work with the patterns or with more information that it would have given us. But for now, you need to wait for more information because price has been bearish. The candlesticks have gotten smaller. So now if the candlesticks have gotten smaller, price is bound to weak out people, take out people's stop losses, and then go higher if there are any people who are buying around this area. If there are people who are selling, then they're going to make them think price is going to go lower, and then it does what it wants. So I would advise being patient, wait for price to give you more information, because if you didn't enter from this area, then you have missed the move. So now what you can only do is to wait for price to give you more information, and then you can take it from there. All right. So it's a very interesting week considering how last week closed. So we have to be very careful. If we look from the weekly time frame, like we said, price could come for a retest around this area, or since this candlestick is a clean traffic candlestick, price could actually come all the way to last week's low and then go higher if it's gonna go higher, since the pattern is saying price is gonna go higher. Because as you can see, this low held, price created a new low, right? And now price is trying to create a new high. The moment it closes above this high, price could potentially reach this area, right? So that's our next target if price is to break out bullish. So now we need to look for a good entry to buy for that big move up. Now remember, this is gold. It takes time. It might take time. It might not take time. So be patient. If you miss the move when it starts, just wait for it to give us another setup. Because in this case, if price is going to go lower, we would want to see price come up, make some sort of a new high, right? Retest a new high, a stop and high, something to take out people's stop losses who sold around this area, or just creating pattern in general, right? For price to go lower. This could also be an interesting area for price, all right? Watch out for this area, because as you can see, you have some sort of thing happening here, and this is where the big candlestick closed. All right, if you look here, that's where the big candlestick closed. So that area could become very important. All right, so just watch price around those areas and see what's going to happen. All right, be patient. As long as you can tell a story and you have a setup in mind, the trade will come to you. As long as you're patient, you just have to be patient. All right, so now that's all. And we're going to wait and see what new information price gives us.